Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Despicable Me. Nasty comments, and it just seems that the holidays and year-end festivities are producing a bumper crop. They just keep rolling in. This one is actually kind of refreshing because it's neither anti-Semitic nor is it something that seems to me to belong to some sort of crazy artist cult, although it may, because it was written to me in response to my review of the Claudio Abbado Berlin box on Deutsche Grammophon, which, as you all know, was an extremely variable, let's be nice, selection of recordings. But that's okay. I mean, that's all right. Abbado has gotten very favorable reviews from me, and he's gotten a lot of really not so favorable reviews from me because he was variable. That's just the way it went. Some artists are like that. Evidently, somebody took umbrage. The person in this case is Paul Vesely 4773. That may actually be a name. Paul Vesely, Vesely 4773, who writes, I mean, this was like such a simple low blow attempt at one anyway. I like it. I like its honesty. Have you ever heard of David Hurwitz? ? Who? ? Well, no? ? Welcome. I haven't either. I love to hear quote-unquote experts pontificate about people who have more talent in their pinky than Dave would have in his whole body. I have to wonder if being a percussionist gave Dave special insights. I think talking is his primary function. That's it. A swift surgical strike, let's call it. I enjoyed it rather. But some of the things in here are so typical and ridiculous. And, well, let's just pick this apart a little bit. First of all, who's heard of me? Well, over 40 years of reviewing, a lot of people. And I dare say, probably about as many people who have heard about Claudio Abbado. We live in a classical music ghetto, where, of course, people who know classical music tend to know the name Claudio Abbado. Outside of that, nobody knows it. Outside of the classical music ghetto, have people heard of me? Well, probably a bit more, simply because of my appearance in popular magazines throughout the decades that dealt with things other than classical music. That's number one. Number two, on my YouTube channel, at least 10 million people a year, I'm getting 10 million views a year right now, have heard of me, which is pretty good. So even if I'm not as popular as Claudio Abbado, which was something I never aspired to, I mean, I don't get up in the mornings and say, oh, I'm not as popular as Claudio Abbado, or any other artist for that matter. What really blows my mind is that these people assume that if they haven't heard of me, then no one else has, and that my opinion is worthless because they haven't heard of me. That is really arrogant. I mean, really sort of cosmically arrogant, isn't it? I mean, the real question is, Mr. Vesely, where the hell have you been these past 40 years? Who have you looked at? What have you done? What curiosity have you expressed? You've heard of what you've heard of. I don't know what your life has been, but the idea that because you haven't heard of something, it doesn't matter, and that an expert, in quotation marks, is not an expert because you haven't heard of them, well, I mean, it's just ridiculous. The other ridiculous thing is the idea that being a critic and talking and, whatnot doesn't require any talent or any ability. I don't notice a lot of other people doing this or doing it the way I do it. It's not making, I think, a grandiose claim for superiority. I'm just making the point that talking is like anything else. It's a gift. It's a form of communication, just like playing music. I actually don't think that talking or writing or any of these communicative skills, any one of them is more important than any other. I find them all equivalent. People can do any of those things, and if you reach people, if you touch them, if they care, if you have something to say and people recognize it, you're doing a service. Just like playing music, you're performing some form of entertainment, just like playing music. So there's that sort of bit of fallacious reasoning. And then being a percussionist gave me any special insights. Well, the short answer to that is yes, it has. It's given me a tremendous amount of insight into the workings of the orchestra. Sitting in the back of a symphony orchestra, watching everybody else do their thing, and listening and attending rehearsals has been invaluable. Absolutely invaluable. And to denigrate those potential insights is just to be an ignorant fool. I mean, anybody who would think that is really just a moron, because there is no better experience than participation. And I did that for decades. Participate in musical performance. It doesn't matter what level you participate in musical performance, you gain insights. I mean, it's absolutely true. So yes, my primary function is talking. Yes, percussion has given me special insights into the world of musical performance, and how much talent I have is a subjective thing. But the fact that Mr. Viselli hasn't heard of me, well, says more about where Mr. Viselli has been than it says about me, doesn't it? So there you have it. Sort of a typical, this is really sort of an archetypal, typical nasty comment, actually. The kind of meat and potatoes nasty comment that I get all the time. So it was quite refreshing to see one of these pop up rather than the really crazy, demented, evil, racist, bigoted, this is just, your typical run-of-the-mill jerk. So I thought we should have a little chat about that. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.